It's time to fire this thing up. I worked out a little trade-off, if you will. I got a call from Captain Sammy Royal, and Sammy's been on the program before. He's a commercial lobsterman down here in the Keys. He also goes for the stone crab. And he called me up and he said, John, if you could wrangle me some Tough Coat Marine rubberized decking for my 18-foot Carolina skiff lobster boat. In exchange, I'll teach you how to kind of bully net. It's a technique for catching lobster, and I'm gonna guarantee that you're gonna go home with some of those spiny tail lobster. And man, when there's seafood involved, that's a good deal. Hey, well, good deal, you made it. I'm John Graviscus. It's great to have you back around the boat. Where I'm at is in Duck Key. This is in the Florida Keys. And this resort is Hawks Cay Marina. And what we're gonna be doing today is we're gonna be teaching you how to put down this rubberized decking material called Tough Coat Marine. And we're also going to be up in Tupper Lake, New York, and we're going to be doing a repair with some Tough Coat. Inevitably, you're gonna change hardware where it's kind of positioned on your boat occasionally. You might have to do that. And we're gonna look firsthand at Hawks Cay Marina and Resorts. This place is amazing. It's gonna be very cool. And here is just a sampling.
What you're looking at, John, is the ship-shaped 23-foot Aubrey Brothers boat coming into the custom installation bay here at the CDeck manufacturing facility in Rockledge, Florida.
Now this is just a very small part, even though it's a massive area, of a brand new 72,000 square foot manufacturing facility, and all you do is make CDeck.
That's all we do.
And I'm gonna be going down to the Keys fishing next week. I'm gonna try to go after some dolphin, and I'm taking the Aubrey Brothers boat with me. What do you make at CDeck that could help me when I'm going to be out there for hours on end behind the helm?
We're looking at one of our most popular, top-selling products, our CDeck anti-fatigue helm station pad.
Okay, that's this right here.
This is it. This is a small and this is the large, two different sizes.
Now how does this relieve fatigue? How does this work?
Well, you know, from standing on a boat all day offshore, you're hitting the waves, your body's beating down on fiberglass deck. It's not very forgiving.
Okay.
This takes some of that shock that you would feel between you and the fiberglass, and it absorbs that shock.
Okay, so it's foam, so it's cushiony, guys. It's like you're kind of in a pair of sandals, but you're standing on a helm pad.
It's actually EVA foam, which is what they make sandals from. This is a high-end EVA.
Are there different size helm pads?
We have, on our website, there's two stock sizes. There's a small and a large. Prices range from $95 to $145, depending on whether you go with a faux teak or the embossed pattern.
How many color choices do you have? I see there's quite a bit here.
Sure, on the stock pads, we've got about a dozen color options you can choose from right now. If you go with custom, you can choose from literally hundreds of variations, one color over another color.
How do we install one? Because I really want this for the fishing trip.
Installation's the easiest part. We have a 3M acrylic-based PSA, so it's an aggressive, sticky backing.
Okay.
And when you're ready to install on your boat, you score the paper backing, tape one side down, peel and stick that, remove the tape, peel and stick the other side, press it in place, and you're done. It's that quick.
Now guys, it's like anything. If you're gonna be sticking it down, you wanna make sure that the area is completely clean.
Yep.
And Jason always recommends like just Windex. Okay, spray it on your current non-skid. Okay, wipe it up with a cloth, get it good and clean, and then you can do the installation. Now, Jason, I think the size limit for mahi-mahi in Florida is, I think it's like 20 inches.
That's it.
Do you have anything that could help me?
I got just the thing for you, John. It's gonna match your helm pad. We got these fish rulers. You can use it on a gunnel area as a step pad, put it on a bolster area. You've got your fish ruler on there.
All right, those fish don't have a chance. How do people at home get a helm pad for their boat?
Everything's available on the website, CDeck.com, SCADEK.com. We've got a whole line of products, do-it-yourself products, install videos, helm pads, you name it, we've got it.
Okay, well, if you have fatigue, this is called anti-fatigue, okay? It's gonna turn around, it's gonna make your boating very, very pleasurable. Thank you, Jason.
Yes, sir, thank you.
ShipShape TV, the global leader in boat improvement, is being brought to you in part by Sunbrella Marine Beautiful Fabrics. For above and below deck, Sunbrella, we live to be on the water. By Boat Outfitters, your source for replacement hardware, custom king starboard doors, tackle centers, and more. Need it? They'll build it. Visit boatoutfitters.com to update or customize your boat today. And finally, made possible by Yamaha. Reliability starts here.
Welcome back. This is a real working 28-acre boatyard / boat building facility residing in Stuart, Florida. It's ShipShape TV's home base. Ideally located, the complex is situated on the shores of the Okeechobee Waterway, which happens to connect the Atlantic Ocean to the Gulf of Mexico. Now, once again, here's the founder and host of ShipShape TV, John Grabiscus.
Thanks, Buck. We're again at Hawks Cay Marina and Resort down in the Florida Keys, actually on Duck Key. And this right back behind me is Captain Sammy's 18-foot Carolina skiff, and that is his commercial lobster boat. And I really love how he put his center console all the way up forward. This thing looks very, very functional. And we worked out a trade-off a little while back. He kind of said, John, I know that you want me to teach you how to bully net to catch lobster. It's a really cool way. You don't even get out of the boat. It's a really cool way that we get lobster down in the Keys. I'll work out a deal. If you could wrangle some Tough Coat Marine rubberized non-skid decking material for my commercial boat, I'll teach you how to do it, and I'm guaranteeing you that you're going to go home with some lobster. So I made some phone calls, and I invited this gentleman right over here to join us today. This is Bill Duffel, and Bill is the owner of Tough Coat Marine. And Bill, starting to sprinkle on us a little bit out here, and my biggest question is, can we do this if it's raining a little bit, or might we be better off to take it undercover and get it under a roof to make sure that it's dry?
Well, it's water-based, so you don't want any water on it. You don't want it to rain.
Okay.
So, you know, the sure bet is to put it undercover and do it underneath.
Okay,
there.
well, we can at least start here. Where would we begin if we want to beautify our deck quick and easy, and really have a good, cushiony, rubberized non-skid that'll never lift off? Where do we begin?
Prep. Prep is key, John. If you don't prep the surface correctly, you're going to have issues.
Okay.
First thing we want to do is clean the boat. We want to rinse it off, get all the dirt and leaves and what have you out of there. Then you want to scrub it with a good degreaser.
Right, and you told me to get something called, what was it, something purple?
Zep Purple.
Yeah, I went to the home center and I couldn't find it. The only thing I could find was the simple green, and that's a good degreaser. Will that work?
Yeah, that'll work fine. That works just as good.
Okay, so we got to really scrub that boat, and then we've got to rinse it down again, right?
Yep, rinse it down, get all the soap out, make sure all the grease is out of it and it's nice and clean.
How can we ensure that our Tough Coat non-skid is going to stick to that fiberglass deck? Is there anything that we could do to make it bite into the deck a little bit?
Yeah, you sand it, you can hand sand it, and you can also use a vibrating sander. What you're trying to do is create a profile. You're trying to scratch it up, basically.
Okay.
So that primer has something to stick to.
So 100 grit sandpaper and we're going to be good.
Yep.
Now, I know that we're going to mask off and kind of protect everything that needs protecting from getting, you know, the Tough Coat on it. And we've got to get into that step. But this is probably the most critical aspect of using Tough Coat. If you want to ensure that it's not going to lift off, you've got to get the right primer, and you have to have a primer. People have bought Tough Coat before without the primer. Don't do that. But it might be a little confusing out there because there's a couple of different varieties of your primers that you make at Tough Coat Marine. What primer are we using for fiberglass on the Carolina skiff?
This is a CP10. It's a water-based 2-component primer.
Okay.
Just mix the A and the B together and go ahead and to apply it. Just put it on with a 3/8 snap roller. Very simple to apply.
Okay, now I have an aluminum boat up in New York that I would like to maybe put Tough Coat in. I couldn't use this primer though. What primer would I use on aluminum?
That would be our MP10. It's for aluminum and steel.
Okay, but it's critical. You got to have the
You
primer.
bet.
Now it's starting to sprinkle here a little bit. Okay, so once we do roll it undercover, okay, how many hours do we want that primer to dry, and what temperature do we want to do this in?
You want to get about 4 to 5 hours in about an 80-degree temperature.
Okay.
With this type of humidity, 4 to 5 hours will work.
Well, I know that the Tough Coat comes in a ton of different colors, and Captain Sammy specifically asked for a light gray. type of tough coat, and that's the product right here. And guys, you are going to need to have a paddle wheel to kind of mix it up, okay? But it is a one-part component.
Yes.
And there's a couple of different ways to apply it. Bill, you were on the program before. You were showing us how to put it on my pontoon boat with a dump gun.
Yeah.
Okay. Bert also was on the pontoon boat recoating it, and he was actually rolling it with a special type of roller. What do you call this roller?
This is our tough coat roller. It's an open cell roller. It takes the rubber granules and actually distributes them onto the surface.
Okay. Well, you need to have the roller, and it all comes with the kit, correct?
Yes.
How many coats of the tough coat do we put onto the dried primer?
2 coats.
2 coats. And how long do we need to let that set before we can actually go out and bully net?
Probably overnight.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
If somebody at home has a lot of spider cracks in their deck, they want a quick, easy, effective non-skid that looks gorgeous, how do they get you?
Go to the website and go to toughcoatmarine.com.
Stay bolted. Ship Shape TV will be back in a snap.
What you're looking at is the deck on my 22-foot Crest pontoon boat up in New York. And guys, if you recall, I had Crest Marine make some replacement rail and fencing for the boat. And it's a different kind of shape. I now have some beautiful radiuses in the corners where I used to have 90-degree corners. And what happened is my boarding ladder has some really cool stainless steel flush mounting pieces of hardware that go into the deck. And I had to move it to get the boarding ladder to go through the door, okay, for the rail. And I now only have one gate on one side of the boat. I have a gate out front, okay, I lost the gate. So I have a couple of pieces of hardware still in the deck. And Bill, what I need to do, I want to plug those holes and I want to blend in some tough coat. And just before the break, we were showing you how to put tough coat onto a boat for the first time. This is kind of like a repair, okay? Inevitably, you're gonna change stuff on a boat. You might move a cleat or something like that. So how would you recommend me and the guys kind of tackling this project?
Well, you got a couple of holes in the plywood, so I would find enough plywood, enough layers of plywood to fill, completely fill that pocket.
Okay, you remember Bill was with us when we reskinned the pontoon boat with some brand new plywood.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just one sheet of plywood, there's a couple of layers.
Sure.
So we should go with what, again, marine grade plywood?
Marine grade plywood. I would take like a drill press possibly, and you would want to drill some pieces of plywood that are real close to the same size as you're going to plug. Maybe sand them down so they fit real tight.
Okay.
Maybe use some West Systems epoxy,
okay,
and tap them in there so they're not quite flush. Then I would sand it down so it's perfectly flush.
Do we need to bevel it back a little bit into the original tough coat around the repair?
Yeah, because you've got a thickness of existing tough coat that you want to build back up to.
Okay.
So I would put a couple of coats of tough coat right there in that area. I would bevel it out, probably sand it with 100 grit paper to like 2 or 3 inches bigger than the hole.
Okay. Now you were telling us how critical it is to use the right type of primer, okay?
Yes.
And what do you call the primer that's for the fiberglass, wood, and concrete?
CP10, that's what we use on fiberglass, wood, and concrete.
Okay.
That's what I would put on that repair.
Okay. So we've got to put down the primer, and you said to let it dry for about 5 hours at
Yeah.
about 80 degrees.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's going to be challenging. It's fall, okay, up in New York.
Yeah, yeah.
But we'll get it to dry. And then we're going to have to mix up our tough coat, and we're going to have to put a lot of layers in there to kind of build up that bevel, right?
You bet. Build it back up to the existing tough coat.
Okay, we'll take a look at the boat with the holes in it, okay? Here's what it looks like after the repair, and literally you can't even tell that it ever happened. I mean, this tough coat is very, very blendable, guys, so if you're going to be changing stuff on your craft, you can sit there and you don't have to redo the whole boat, you can do some spot repairs. It's cool. How do people at home, again, get Tough Coat Marine?
Go online to toughcoatmarine.com.
Ship Shape TV will be back in a flash. Welcome back aboard. Fishing for boat improvement? Well, you caught it right here at Ship Shape TV.
Welcome back. I wanted everybody home to kind of experience what I've been experiencing here the last couple of days here at Cay Resort and Marina. And so what I've done is I've invited the director of marketing to join us today. This is Matt Lawrence, and Matt, you set us up in slip number 35 for the Aubrey Brothers boat. 2 villas side by side, beautiful rooms, by the way. Thank you. But we were kind of putzing around, and I noticed these humongous porpoises coming out of the water.
Yeah.
What in the world's that all about?
That's our dolphin connection. Hawks Cay is lucky to be one of the only resorts in the continental United States that has an on-property dolphin facility. So we've got 5 resident dolphins there and offer a number of programs for kids and adults. And you can go in the water with the dolphins, you can greet them from the dock, or you can spend 3 hours behind the scenes at looking to see what it is that a dolphin trainer does in their daily interaction.
My wife Tracy really likes spas.
Yeah.
Okay, could you tell us about yours here on the property?
Absolutely. Calm Water Spa is located right here at Hawks Cay. Got 11 treatment rooms and offer a number of services from manicures, pedicures, a number of different massages in there as well.
Okay, well I've been down here before with the family, and the fishing offshore in the Atlantic, man, you want to talk about some, it's incredible. But yet the bay is right here too, and Captain Sammy Royal is going to teach us how to bully net. I've never done this before.
Oh, great, great.
Is that cool?
Oh, you're in for a treat. Bully net is a lot of fun. We're an ideal location here at Hawks Cay because we've got a number of grass flats where our prime location for lobster and bully netting is done. So you're in a great place, and
it's a lot of fun. Could you maybe show us some local spots? Tomorrow night we're going out.
Absolutely, I would love to show you.
Man, that is fantastic. Now, resorts are rated, you know, like on stars and diamonds. Where does Hawks Cay kind of fall into that rating scale?
We're a 4-diamond property.
Okay, the restaurants are unbelievable. If you guys are into water sports, they've got kayaking here. They can rent boats. They have charter boats. They'll take you out fishing. You can bring your own boat here.
Yep.
They'll launch you right at the beautiful ramp.
Boat ramp, 85 full-service slips, and then we also have a back boat basin. If you have a boat smaller than 32 feet, we can accommodate that as well.
How does somebody, maybe they're up north and they are stuck in the snow, okay, or they live in Florida, okay, how do people get to you, located on US 1 right here on mile marker 61?
Yep.
Okay, how do they get to Hawks Cay Resort?
Well, the best way to get information on your next visit to Hawks Cay is hawkscay.com.
I want to help everybody with a real quick little tip on how you can actually cut your rope and how you can make sure that the ends are just absolutely perfect. What you want to do is you want to wrap some masking tape around the place that you want to cut. Then with a razor knife, you can cut it in half, and then take a lighter and go ahead and burn that masking tape and burn that rope. It's all going to melt with inside itself, and then you just quench it in a little bit of water. That's going to make your line never fray. It's a great tip. Go ahead and try it.
Stay the course. ShipShape TV and its host, John Graviscus, will be back in a flash. Welcome back. You're tuned into ShipShape TV, America's favorite boat improvement show.
What you're looking at is what's called a bully net. And tomorrow night, this gentleman right over here is going to teach us how to do this firsthand. This is Captain Sammy Royal. And Sammy, back in June, you showed us how to dive and snorkel for scallops. And oh my gosh, did we succeed. And I'm sure tomorrow night is going to be success as well. You're guaranteeing me that we're going home with lobster, and that was the trade-off. I get you the tough coat, you're gonna teach me how to bully net.
We're gonna do it.
And you're gonna send me home with some lobster. Could you please explain a bully net, how it works, and take us through the technique? How do we capture a lobster without ever leaving the boat?
Okay, bully net. Got a bully net. Typically, you can buy this store-bought bully net. Not a big deal. Probably seen them, didn't know what they were because the net,
I've never seen them bent this way.
Right,
They've always been like a hoop.
The net's always just stick straight out. You have to bend them. You bend them yourself, not a big deal. The line doesn't come. The line's on the bunt for a reason. I'll tell you, to keep the bunt off from going down first, you don't want that bunt to go down there on your lobster and spook him.
Yeah.
So you hold it up. Once you get down there and get him, in your sights, then you turn that bunt loose.
Okay, use like your sandal or something, and let's say this is a lobster. Here's its head. Here's the lobster's tail. How do we do it?
Okay, we're going along. We're going along on the boat. We see it. We got our lights out. We're looking at.
You gotta have underwater lights.
Gotta have good lighting.
Okay,
That's
can we explain something to everybody at home? How these lobster work down here in the Keys, okay, is with the incoming tide, and when it gets, you know, like dusk and it becomes dark, they don't stay under a rock.
No,
they walk.
That's when they can move.
And they forage. They're going from place to place to find food.
Right.
Okay? So we're going to get them as they're walking. Okay? But we're coming up on the lobster. You got the bully net. How do you do it?
Okay, you come up on him, and as you come up on him, if everything lines up right with the way with your boat and the way things are moving, you can just come down on him. As you come down on him, you want to secure the back of the lobster first, and then go down on the front of him, spooking him back into the bunt of the net. As you let that bunt go, the lobster's going to jump back. When he jumps back, you can see all this in your light. When he jumps back, you pick the net straight up, trapping him in this pocket.
So with your underwater lights, you're just bumping it in and out of gear.
Yep.
You're going slow, and
slow.
you're kind of looking with your underwater lights to find the lobster. Now I know tomorrow during the day, with some brownie third lungs, we're going to be getting lobster the traditional way.
We got to go where they live. Yeah,
tickle sticks, and that's where you get them in their little holes or on you know, some type of a little shelf or something like that. Okay, but this is so cool, and we've got a couple of people that we need to thank who helped make today's show possible. First off, we need to thank Captain Sammy Royal, and I'm so glad that we have hooked up. We've become really, really good friends. We also need to thank everybody at Hawks Cay Marina, their resort. It's unbelievable. And we had Matt Lawrence on the program. Holly from their PR department really set the crew up. This is a 4-diamond resort, Sammy. We also had Bill Duffel on the program, and Bill wanted to get in on this deal. He donated the tough coat to you.
He's got it coming.
We also need to thank Courtney Luce. And Courtney is with Duck Key Marina, and we've had intermittent showers this whole week, and literally if we didn't have a roof over that boat, we would not have gotten the primer to dry, and we couldn't have put the tough coat down. It's a water-based material. Okay, so he was very, very instrumental. My guys, like always, worked really, really hard, but most importantly, that's right, we need to thank everybody at home. Thanks so much for hanging out with us here in the Keys for the last half hour. Again, I'm John Graviscus, Captain Sammy Royal. We will see you on the next go-around.
Closed captioning for Ship Shape TV has been made possible by Marine 31 Boat Waxes, Cleaners, and Polishes. At Marine 31, quality and value stand above all else. Professional results are only a few simple steps away. Marine 31, for the captain that demands the best for their boat.